Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about how to forget someone you love. So the first thing that I want to dive into is you're probably never gonna forget them unless you get amnesia or Alzheimer's or something like that. You're not gonna just forget about someone. Like, you can't just completely wipe them out of your brain, right? It's not like that film, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where you can just program, like, you can just put something on your head and they're going to make you forget basically your ex. And even then, in that film, they didn't really forget about each other. Like, there was still like something there that was still drawn them to each other. But as you can see, right, there's nothing, you're still going to remember them, right? But the point is that across time, over time, those feelings that you have for them or had for them will become less intense. And that's what this video is about. It's all about getting yourself to a place where those feelings for them have become less intense and you start to feel a bit better about yourself. But unfortunately, that requires time. You need to give yourself time to get over someone, right? You have to. I see a lot of people going wrong in rebound relationships where they've gone from one relationship straight into another, and they've brought all of that old baggage from that old relationship just straight into a new one. And it's all because they just didn't have time to themselves for a few months. I always say minimum 6 months, to get over that past relationship, to get over those bad old habits that they may have had, because sometimes, let's say you get into an argument a lot with your ex, right? And you go into a rebound relationship and then you find yourself having the same sort of arguments with the new person. And it's not because of the new person, it's because you've carried your old habits from one relationship right into a new one. So that's why rebound relationships are bad. I mean, there's many reasons why rebound relationships aren't good and why they rarely work. But as you can see, that's one of the main ones. You need to have time, essentially. You need to have time to process what happened to you. You need time to get over it, to rebuild yourself, to get over it, basically, right? And I say, people you need at least 6 months minimum before you start dating again to at least have made the emotions less intense and less raw when it came to that past relationship. Especially if you got broken up with, and you feel horrible, right? Because a lot of people do when they get dumped, right? And you might be one of those people that have got dumped, right? It sucks to get dumped. It's not nice, right? And we can all feel that, right? It's not a great emotion to feel when you've been rejected in that sort of way. It's not good. So you need time, right? You need time, okay? Because if you don't get better and you don't get yourself right emotionally, and you still feel insecure, because that's what happens when you get dumped. You start to feel insecure and you lack confidence for a bit because you didn't want the breakup to happen, and it makes you feel unlovable. It makes all these things like bubble up inside of you. And if you don't have time, you're going to be insecure in the next relationship you have, right? Which is why you need minimum 6 months, right, to feel less intense about it. Where you can get you, and in those 6 months, right, this is what we're going to get into now. You need to start building your confidence up. Right? Because you don't want to be going into the next relationship feeling insecure, unsure of yourself, worried that they're going to leave you and things like that. You need to get rid of all of that sort of anxiety that kind of builds up when you've been dumped, right? That's why you need space and time, because you don't want to wreck your next relationship, because the next relationship you might have may be with someone who's way better than your ex, way better looking, have, great family, great friends, they may be like a top tier person, they may be a 10 out of 10, you never know, right? And you don't want to mess it up by being insecure and being whiny, like, oh, are you going to leave me like my ex? You don't want to have that sort of attitude inside of you, okay? You need to get over it, you need to develop your confidence, you need to get better. So how do you do that, right? How do you do that? So first thing, accept that it's going to take time. Accept that it's going to take time for you to get better, right? Some days you're going to feel horrible. Other days you're going to feel okay. Other days you may feel completely devastated, right? You can have better days than others, right? And I know this just from, generally, if you notice and you're very acute of how you feel each day, then you can tell when you have a really good day and when you have a bad day. Like today for me, yesterday for me, I had a really bad day. Really, really bad day. Today, I, feel a little bit better in myself today, but there are still lots of things that are going on that kind of sucks that I don't want to do. Like, for example, I didn't really want to sit down and make videos today But I got myself down and started doing it. But I really didn't want to do it. It took me like 2 hours to get myself the motivation to go and to take action and start making videos, right? So, some days are going to be better than others. Some days you're going to be sad. Some days you're going to feel fine. Some days you're going to feel elated and motivated and happy. Other days you're not, right? So you need to come to the acceptance of that and accept that it's going to take time to get over them, right? It's going to take minimum 6 months for the emotions to become less intense, okay? So one thing that can help you, that's really going to benefit you, is if you remove any triggers that can, let's say, slip you back into old habits, right? So you want to get rid of any music on your phone, any playlists that remind you of them, any songs that you like to listen to, that you like to cry to because they broke up with you. You need to get rid of those things, right? You need to get rid of those things so you don't feel drawn to do it, right? Because if sometimes at night time you like to have a drink, you like to have a cry about what happened, fair enough, but if you want to start getting better and you want to start healing, because we've all been to those places, where we've had a nice little drink and we've maybe drank too much and started to listening to sad songs. We've all been in that place, in that headspace where that sort of thing has happened to us, right? You want to remove that. You want to stop doing that. So the first thing you do is you remove the music. The next thing is you remove the drink if you was using drink, right? You want to do that and remove the triggers, right? Also, you may need to block them on social media, right? If it's preventing you from moving on and you keep on checking their feed and you can't help yourself. I know some people have better self-restraint than others. Like, for example, you may have them on social media and you might not be checking their feed, all the time. But some people do. I used to be one of those people. That I couldn't help myself. I had to check, see what they were up to. So I blocked them, I deleted them, right? And I stopped doing that, right? And you may need to do that for yourself in order to feel better, okay? So remove the triggers that are preventing you from moving on, because that's what it does. Like if you have these things that you do that remind you of them, like you listen to the songs, you're just thinking about them all the time, you're looking at their social media feed, whatever it may be, you look back on old messages, you overanalyze them, right? Basically, if you are diving into those things and you are spending a lot of time doing those things, it is preventing you from moving on. And it essentially puts you back to square one, right? Especially if you do it every single day. Now, it may be the case, you don't do it for a few weeks and then maybe you cave and you do it once. You're not necessarily back at square one at that point. But as long as you don't keep on doing it and you kind of stop yourself, or you realize what you're doing and you stop, that kind of thing. So you need to remove the triggers. You need to remove those sorts of things that you may be doing that's preventing you from moving on, right? The next thing to do is to find projects to immerse yourself in. Things that you want to do, things that you want to accomplish, right? So figure out, what do you want to accomplish in life? What do you want to do with your life? What would you ideally like your life to be, right? And start taking action towards that, right? This is a quote I've been using quite a lot in the last few videos because I think it's a fabulous quote. And that is, inaction breeds doubt and fear, action breeds confidence and courage. And that is a quote by Dale Carnegie. So basically, if you're sitting around worried, looking at your phone, looking at what they're doing all the time, listening to music about them, your thoughts are just consumed by them. That's going to make you have fear inside of you and make you doubt yourself even more. If you want to build confidence and courage into yourself, because we do take a big self-esteem knock when we get dumped, right? You need to build yourself up again. And the best way to do that is to take action on things that would make you feel proud of yourself. So you got to ask yourself, today, what would, make me feel proud of myself today? It could be going out for a run. It could be going to the gym. It could be working on a project that you need to get done. It could be studying if you're a student. It could be tackling a paper. It could be writing something if you do blogs or you're a journalist or something. What would make you feel proud of yourself today? What would move the needle, basically, bit by bit, to where you want to be today, right? So that's what you got to essentially do. You got to just find ways to improve your life. What you need to do, take action on those things so you can slowly get yourself to where you want to be. And you got to have goals for yourself. What are your goals? Right? Figure those things out. What do you want? What kind of house would you like to live? What would you like your body to look like? Would you like to have a business? Would you like to have a certain type of career? Do you need to go back to school? You need to think about those things and then take action on those things so you can start feeling more confident and better about yourself, and immerse yourself in it. Immerse yourself in taking action, right? Immerse yourself in getting better every day. Because today, for example, I was saying, today I didn't want to make videos. Today I felt, like I'd rather not, right? It took me like 2 hours to, sit down and make videos, right? So, but when I started getting into it and I made the first video, I was doing, starting the next, after like 10 or 15 minutes, I started to get immersed in taking action, and I started to feel better and less groggy, and I was starting to liven up a bit, right? But because that's what you get essentially. It doesn't matter if it's like something like this, what I'm doing, or if it's something else like writing something, or just get immersed in taking action. It's like when you start exercising, you might not really want to go on that first mile run, but when you start going, you start to feel good, you start to feel better, and like 10 or 15 minutes into it, you start to feel better, and you can continue for the rest of the day. And you feel confident about yourself, you feel better about yourself. It gives you a self-esteem boost, right? And if you've had your self-esteem knocked, then you need to find ways to make yourself feel more confident, right? And the best way to do that is to take action on your goals and dreams. Because when you feel like you're making progress, you feel better about yourself. So how can you make progress in your life today? What can you do today to make you feel like you're moving forward, and then take action on it? Because it will make you feel so much better about yourself. What's going to make you feel horrible about yourself is if you're just sitting there looking at photos of your ex, listening to music that reminds you of your ex, checking their Facebook feed or their Instagram feed, and seeing what they're doing. That's going to make you feel crappy about yourself. Do something that's going to make you feel good and proud of yourself, so you can look at yourself in the mirror and be happy about who's looking back at you. When these feelings start to become less intense, when these feelings start to your feelings towards your ex starts to feel better, then you can start dating again. And I always tell people that you need minimum 6 months, right? 6 months minimum to start feeling less intense and less raw about your ex and that relationship. So that's the kind of like where you need to get to. You need to get to a point where you don't feel as bad about it, so then you can start dating other people. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.